Dark Shadows, number 5-66. Air date 7/1/66. VTR date 6/17/66. Take one.
My name is Victoria Winters. The gray light of early morning brings no relief from the tension that inhabits the old house on top of Widow's Hill. But at least the night has passed. A night that was touched with a fear I'd never known before. And now it would be over. Fear would be ended. And so would hope.
Who is it?
Carolyn! Unlock the tower. How about some coffee? Hey, what's going on here? Victoria Winters, you're quitting, aren't you?
Uh-huh.
But you've only been here one night.
Well, it seems I can't take it.
And here I thought I'd found a friend. Oh, Vicky, I know it was rough last night. But no one knows that better than I.
Well, I'll take you up on that coffee.
The first and last breakfast in Collinwood. I'm gonna miss you, Vicky. We could have been good friends.
Maybe you can come and see me in New York.
Vicky, you sure you want to do this? I know how difficult it was last night.
Oh, you don't know how difficult it was. But let's get that coffee.
Vicky, you haven't even met David yet. Give us a chance.
But you're wrong. I did meet him.
Mother. Mother.
Frightening it was to see that small white form at the top of the stairs, to talk up to it, to hear just 3 words, just 3. I hate you.
And that's when you decided to leave.
Oh, it wasn't just David. It was everything. Your uncle last
But
night.
I told you about Uncle Roger. Once you get to know him,
I know he's charming and pleasant and terrified. Or maybe I am too. That sobbing I heard last night.
Sobbing? What's sobbing?
Well, about 2 o'clock, didn't you hear it?
No.
I came downstairs because it woke me. I heard it all around me. I went into the living room, but there was no one there.
Maybe you were dreaming.
Good morning, you lovely people. Hi, kitten.
Delicious. How about some of my lousy coffee?
Oh, I don't have time. I have to get into town. How are you this morning, Miss Winters?
Very well, thank you.
Vicky's sore at you, Uncle Roger.
Well, then maybe a letter from home will help cheer her up a bit. Tie with the past always makes the future look brighter.
Thank you.
Oh, Miss Winters, I want to apologize for last night. I'd had a bit of a shock, and I'm afraid I took it out on you. I'm dreadfully sorry, and I hope you'll forgive me. Please say that you will, or else I'll throw myself off the cliff.
You don't give me much choice, do you?
Good. We're friends then. I'll see you later. Oh, by the way, has anyone seen David around this morning? I stopped in at his room, but he wasn't there.
Lucky you.
Well, if you see him, Miss Winters, give him a kick for me, will you? There's a good girl.
Well, Mr. Collins, did you hear any sobbing last night?
Vicky says she heard someone crying at about 2 in the morning.
Dreams, Miss Winters. Nothing but dreams. Happy breakfast.
You see, Vicky? Are you going to leave us just because of a dream? Good news? Bad news? Anything important?
Just news. She says the children all miss me. Well, I'll just have time for a good long look at the view before I go upstairs and get packed.
You're chicken.
I suppose I am.
What kind of person comes all the way up here from New York just to spend one night and then gives up?
It was the most frightening night of my life. Don't forget that.
Okay. If you're really going, then hurry up about it.
Yesterday you told me to go.
That was just talk. Oh, Vicky, I'll go out of my mind if I don't have somebody in this place.
Carolyn, if you hate it here, why don't you leave?
Maybe I will someday. Oh, you don't know how lucky you are.
Don't ever envy me.
Why not? When you can just pick up your bag and walk out of here? You go home to a normal family while
Do you know where this letter came from? Here, look at it. Go ahead. Sure, they all miss me. And I miss them. All 152 of them. But there isn't one of them who wouldn't give 10 years of her life just to know who she is and where she comes from.
Okay, so you worked in a foundling home. What does that have to do with
Yes, I
me?
worked in a foundling home. And I lived there too, Carolyn, every year of my life. That's right. I'm one of those kids. You know what my family was? A cardboard box. And a piece of paper with 10 words written on it. Her name is Victoria. I cannot take care of her.
I'm sorry. I didn't know.
That's the thing about families. You just don't know how important they are.
But couldn't you... I mean, haven't you ever tried to find out anything?
I never stopped trying. I was even crazy enough to come up here on the chance I might find the answer. But that's over with now.
Why Collinsport?
The foundling home was sent $50 for me in cash every month. The letters started coming when I was 2, and they came every single month until I was 16. None of them were ever signed.
But that doesn't make sense.
It didn't make sense when your mother offered me this job either. I'd never heard of her, Carolyn, or Collinsport. Everyone thought I was crazy to come up here.
Then why did you?
The postmark on the letters was Bangor, Maine. And Bangor is only 50 miles from Collinsport.
Oh, Vicky, that's a real stretch.
When you're as desperate as I am, you grab for anything. So, don't ever envy me, because you know who you are, and you belong. And your name is more than just a season when you were dropped on the most convenient doorstep.
Winters? Victoria Winters. I'd never have figured that one out.
Yes. Well, that's the sad story of my life, and the reason I came up here. And to pay you back for listening, I'll do the dishes.
Go home, miss. Go back to New York.
Who are you?
That's a good question. One I've been trying to figure out all my life. Who am I? Who are any of us? Why are we here in this green and ugly world? Your name is Victoria Winters.
How do you know?
When a man has cruised along these cliffs as long as I have, and gazed out to sea, feasted his eyes on the beauty about him, and fastened his ears to the keyholes beside him, he learns a great deal. You arrived last night in Collinsburg, driven to the hotel by a dark and hungry man. Then a taxi brought you here.
Who are you, anyway?
Go home, Miss Winters. Once you've told Roger Collins I'm here, you go pack your things and go home. You will tell him, won't you?
I can't. He's not here.
Are you sure?
He went to town about a half an hour ago.
But did he say where he was going?
No, just he was going to town.
Did he say when he was coming back?
No, he didn't.
Well, he'll be back. When he does, I want you to tell him I was here. Tell him Sam wandered along the shore last night, then came to Widow's Hill this morning.
Well, I don't know if there'll be enough time.
And tell only him. No one else. And another soul in that ghost-ridden house of tears.
Just a minute. What did you mean, house of tears?
That's simple. You break a heart, it cries. Poetic? Perhaps. But eternal and true. You've heard of Josette Collins?
No.
This is where she stood. Josette Collins, brought here from France as the bride of the man who built that house. He built it for her. He gave it to her. But he couldn't give her peace.
What happened?
Townspeople hated her because she was a stranger. Her husband's family hated her because she was different. Even the house hated her. So she would cry herself to sleep night after night. And then one day, this is where she stood. And that's where she jumped.
How horrible.
House of tears. Some quiet night, if you listen real carefully, you can hear her crying her heart out with loneliness.
But what I mean is, that's impossible.
You heard her?
No, of course not. There's no such thing as ghosts.
Oh, yes, there are.
I don't
Both
believe...
living and dead.
I don't believe in them.
Well, they exist, all right. What do you say about Mrs. Stoddard? Why, she hasn't been out of that house in 18 years. Is she any more than a ghost? Oh, they exist all right, as she does. They cry out as she does. They walk those halls and haunt it as she does. Tell Roger Collins that I was here. Tell him and no one else.
I thought you'd be packed and gone by now.
Carolyn, why didn't you tell me about your mother?
I thought you knew about my mother. Everyone else in town does. But you live with it, and there it is. She hasn't been off the hill since 6 months before I was born. But as you say, I'm lucky. I have a family.
Why does she do it?
Because of my dad. He left, you know? Took off. 18 years ago. And my mother, being a sensible woman, decided to do the natural thing. She decided to wait for him. And where do you wait? At the house. Logical, isn't it?
You mean she's never been out? Really never?
Look, why don't you just go home and stop bothering me?
Sure. I'm sorry.
I just had a thought. 18 years. He's been gone 18 years.
What about it?
The money. The money you said was sent to you. It started coming 18 years ago, didn't it? Maybe there's a connection.
Oh, now who's stretching?
But isn't it possible? I mean, you came up here on a wild chance. Maybe it means something and maybe it doesn't. But are you going to leave before you have a chance to find out?
I don't know. But thanks for thinking about it.
Her name is Victoria. I cannot take care of her.
David, how did you...
Her name is Victoria. I cannot take care of her.
Where did you get that?
Her name is Victoria. I cannot take
Please,
care of her.
please give it to me,
Her
David,
name
please.
is Victoria. I
Please
cannot
give
take
it to
care
me.
of her. Her name is Victoria.
David, give it to me right now. Why? Do you want me to go home?
They do.
Who?
The widows. They told me to send you home.
What widows? I don't know what you're talking about, David.
You're just like the rest of them. Nobody ever listens to me. Nobody!
Her name is Victoria. I cannot take care of her.
Wow, what happened here?
David?
He's on your side, huh? Looks like he wants you to go home, too. But he sure doesn't know how to pack.
Caroline, I've been thinking.
I know. I know. Enough is enough.
No, about the money and the 18 years.
Way, way out. I know. I guess it's just me trying to hold on to a friend.
Well, it is pretty far-fetched.
You're right.
And I'd be a fool to keep on staying here.
You're right about that, too.
If I go, then all I have is this.
Maybe you'll think of another angle someday.
Yes, maybe I will. Caroline, help me put those things away. I'm gonna stay.
You bet.
Be where the action is. Join top recording stars as they visit exciting locations to sing the day's biggest song hits. Next on ABC. Dark Shadows has been a Dan Curtis production.